Welcome to another Nerd Stalker interview. Good evening. This is Greg Gloria, aka Social Greg on Twitter for the Nerd Stalker Media Network. Today we're talking hashtags. If you're a Twitter person or a Google Plus person, you'll know what I mean. I'm pleased to talk with Saul Fleischman, live from Osaka, Japan, and co-founder of RiteTag, a service helping you find the optimal reach through hashtags. So let me tell you a little bit about Saul and my connection with him. I met Saul through LinkedIn years ago now, it seems, and he got me started in social media, actually. And he's been an international director of marketing at Showa Tool and an entrepreneur in various regards. So let's get started. Good evening, Saul, and thanks for joining us on Nerd Stalker.
Oh, thanks for having me.
Cool. So tell the Nerd Stalker audience about the story of how you came to start RiteTag.
It was actually during the big Japan earthquake, the Tohoku quake, when the TV was giving us not much. Twitter was a whole lot better, and I was following some people who were sharing great stuff, links to videos, news on aftershocks and such. But then they were retweeting people who I wasn't following, and I got the sense, wow, there's a whole lot more out there. And I wish there was a way that I could get all of this stuff. Just if it's about the quake, the tidal wave, tsunami, aftershocks, the situation with the nuclear reactors in Fukushima, and such. I'd like to just be able to have that, say, in a column in Hootsuite. Like, there are many tools that'll let you do that. Radian 6, Tweet Smarter, TweetDeck, and such. I use Hootsuite, and I thought, track it with a hashtag, but the hashtags were all over the place. Japan earthquake, JP quake, Save Japan, Love for Japan, Fukushima, Miyagi Prefecture. It was all over the place, and I thought, what if there was something that would let you give your topic, whatever it is, you know what you're talking about. That's for sure. But you might not know which is the hashtag to use, which go with the flow, right? Which is the one that the most people are using, or the top couple that are relevant but also reaching. And so I conceived a tool that would do that, and that was the start of it.
Wow, that's pretty interesting because all these things, all these startups like we talk to here in Nerd Stalker are always is trying to solve a problem, and obviously I think you're trying to solve an interesting problem, which is finding relevance with hashtags and finding the right information, which was born out of the earthquake. Wow, that's pretty cool. So I mean, tell us a little bit about RiteTag, not to go into gory details, but tell us a little bit about RiteTag and how it evolved from your story now into what it is today.
Well, we started first with Twitter and G+, where hashtags are real important, and integrated those first, added other networks. You enter a term, a string, we call it, or even a couple words, and then you select which networks you're going to be sharing content on, and RiteTag delivers reports. They're interactive. We'll show you who's using hashtags related to your query, how many times each one is using them, when they're using them, and then we'll give you content, recent content, up to the minute. This is the interactive part. The reports are always refreshing. So up to the minute content that's going out with the tag. This is real important because, Greg, often say with the event tags, they're often abbreviations, right? And if you don't know SX, what is it, South by South, SXSW, right. You know that one, but there are so many other ones that you wouldn't know. or it's some other archaic abbreviation. But from looking at the content that's gone out with the tag, often from context, you can figure out what it's about and then decide if it's right for you.
Mm,
Yeah.
I see. Yeah, a lot of events we use like SF New Tech, SFNT,
Mm.
Nerd Stalker. We can do one for our show as well. But I think you're onto something where half the time I don't know if half the world is already using that for a different thing. I just kind of guess sometimes, and I think your tool is kind of interesting because it helps you find the optimal hashtag, or even find one that possibly is not even being used. So that could be something that's unique to you. So it's pretty neat, actually. So let's shift quickly to your business model. Like, what big lessons have you learned being a startup, and you tell us about the interesting story, because you have people distributed around the world, right?
My partners are in Prague, Czech Republic. We're actually about to recruit a fourth wheel. There are three of us. There's Pavel, Michal, and myself, and we'll be looking to add one more person for back-end development. We have no idea where he'll be. The guys in Prague, it's totally by coincidence. I found them, and it's just convenient that they're there, especially since Pavel doesn't speak English.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Whoa. Okay.
Michal does, at least as good as me. So yeah, we're here and there. We're pretty well in sync with time zones. I know I've got Fox clocks on my Firefox. I know when Prague is waking up.
Nice. Now, give me a quick answer to this. How do you guys communicate? Is it primarily through instant messenger or a Skype-like thing, or how do you guys collaborate?
Gtalk. We have meetings usually in Hangouts. These things don't always work. We use Skype for backup. Email. We also use something called Asana for project management. I use Trello for other projects, but Asana for Ideas Watch and RiteTag. And so we'll assign each other tasks this is every day. It's always happening, and then comment on them and attach links to them. Nice. And chew each other out on them. Yes.
But Google Plus, you feel, is not a bad place to actually collaborate then, right?
It's the most important one, yeah. It's really great, yeah.
Well, that's cool. So any lessons you've learned about doing this in a distributed startup model, which you don't have everyone on your team there, and I think a lot of people do it this way. Any lessons you give the startup audience, and any tips?
Get your communications tight. Test people. Try before you commit to your team. If you're, as I was, the original founder, I've got the plan, the concept, the ideas. All this is fleshed out. I'm recruiting, and so try people before you commit to partnerships, right? And see how they do, see how their interest continues, increases, or wanes.
How did you keep the motivation in the team going? I mean, obviously, all these issues you brought up are real issues. I mean, even in teams that are even in the same locale, those are issues. Like, how did you guys keep on, motivating yourself and moving forward? Because how long was this development process?
We're maybe 11 months so far.
Wow.
About 11 months.
So that's a long time.
Yeah. Yeah, nearly a year. How do we get motivation? You know what? It's up and down.
Mm.
We we motivate each other and we demotivate each other. But now I understand we can do both. You know, um, hey, I had a meeting with my partner yesterday. I said I've got an interview coming tomorrow. Tell me something good, Michal. Tell me something good. I need it right now. He can do that. Uh, and
What did he say?
uh, just something about a plan for the registration process.
Mm.
We're still in private beta. We let
Mm.
people sign up really easily just with Twitter.
Mm.
Um, but we'll
Wow.
be moving to something that's going to take a lot more work. In where it's a full registration, and then we've got to keep track of when people came in,
Mm.
their permissions. Can
Mm.
we send you a newsletter or not?
Mm.
Um,
Mm.
things like that. Uh, that's going to take some work. So he gave me some nice news about that.
Mm.
Um,
Nice. Well,
and
yeah. No, I'm sorry. What I noticed is that Saul here, he was on Google Plus fairly early on, and he uses it extensively. He actually does a lot of the demos for RiteTag in Google Plus Hangouts. So, talk a little to the audience a little bit how you do that and how it works, how you feel it's working using Google Plus for your demos and stuff.
well, I understand that it's a tool, so I never tell people about RiteTag. I tell them I learn what they would want to get done.
Hmm.
And workshops are always about getting their stuff done with RiteTag.
Hmm. Well, that's an interesting approach. So, uh, I mean, do you? I guess let's talk a little bit about Google Plus and how you use it. I know you're using it in a manner where you try not to make it very intrusive, but how do you like the technology? How do you like using Google Plus with what you're doing for these? I would call marketing, business development type of things.
I like how you can bring people in. I like how other people can also bring people in to to what you're doing. Um, there's a LinkedIn group that you worked with me from the beginning on that I started. I renamed. So bootstrapping social startups has been in LinkedIn for 3 years.
Mm.
One thing you can't do with LinkedIn though is speak with people,
Right.
right? So I launched the G Plus community boots with the same name, and we've got events. I added a forum for Hangouts rather than just events because in a G Plus community, in events, all you can do is launch one.
Mm. True.
Well, what about when, say, Social Time is doing an event that you launched from from Social Time, but it would be relevant to our community? In Hangouts, you can post that and get our people coming in there if that's what you want. So I give people a platform um, for getting their things done. Um, the better communities are doing that,
Mm.
and yeah, we're very small. I mean,